Can you believe it? Sometimes your car's check engine light comes on, the throttle feels sluggish, or the transmission shifts jerkily, but nothing's actually broken. It's just the ECU, the car's brain, getting confused by data. Many people rush to a shop, spending hundreds just to reset the system. But there are 5 super simple methods, used daily by mechanics, that you can do at home for free. From a key twisting trick that feels like a video game cheat code, to a gas pedal hack that saves fuel. Like and subscribe to the channel if this video helps you. Method 1. Ignition key on-off cycling reset. If you own an older car, especially one made before 2005, this is a pocket trick that seasoned mechanics still swear by. It's called the ignition key on-off cycling reset, which sounds fancy but is just a simple sequence of turning the key. No tools, no popping the hood, and it can fix issues that seem complicated. Picture this. You just replaced the battery or had some electrical work done, and suddenly the car feels sluggish, the throttle's slow, or the transmission isn't shifting smoothly. You start worrying. Is the transmission shot? Is a sensor dead? In reality, often the ECU, the car's control brain, has forgotten its learned data. That's where this key turning rhythm comes in, reteaching the car to run smoothly. The process is dead easy. Sit in the driver's seat, insert the key into the ignition, and turn it to the on position, where all the dashboard lights come on, but the engine doesn't start. Hold it there for a few seconds, then turn it back to off. Repeat this whole process 3 times, completing it within 10 seconds. It feels like entering a cheat code in a video game, but for your car, it's a signal to restart some core logic. Why does this work? On many older cars, this on-off sequence resets the fuel pump relay, refreshes the electronic throttle's data, and even recalibrates the automatic transmission's shift logic. I once saw an early Ford Escape. After a battery replacement, it ran rough and shifted jerkily, and the owner thought the transmission needed replacing. After doing the 3 key cycles and driving around the block, the transmission relearned, and it ran smoothly again. The beauty of this trick is its total safety. You're not touching the battery terminals, pulling fuses, or risking shorts. It simply uses how the ECU is programmed to recognize startup signals. This makes it work for many common older cars, from Ford and Chrysler to Nissan. Of course, it's not foolproof. On newer cars, especially post-2010, many brands change their algorithms, making this method less effective. But for cars that have served you for decades, it's the cheapest solution to try first before moving to more complex fixes. One small tip: don't rush it or skip holding the key in the on position long enough. If you go too fast, the ECU won't register the cycle, and you won't see results. Stay calm, count silently in your head, and keep each step deliberate. Method 2. Disconnect the battery properly. Disconnecting the battery to reset a car is probably the most well-known method many drivers have heard of. But did you know that 90% of the time, people do it wrong, so the ECU doesn't fully reset and those pesky errors stick around? It's not because the car is stubborn. It's because we overlook small but critical details. Imagine this. You pop the hood, loosen the battery terminals, remove the negative, wait 5 minutes, and reconnect. Sounds logical in theory, but in reality, the car's electronic circuits, from the ECU to throttle sensors to safety systems, still hold residual power in capacitors and backup circuits. So, when you reconnect the battery, old data lingers, the check engine light stays on, and the engine still runs unevenly. So, how do you reset it, right? First, remember the safety rule. Always disconnect the negative terminal first, then the positive. Doing it backward is like poking a metal tool into a live system. You risk sparks or a short circuit. When reconnecting, do the reverse. Positive first, then negative. This is a rule every seasoned mechanic knows by heart. After disconnecting both terminals, don't rush to reconnect. Wait at least 10 to 15 minutes for residual power to drain from the system. But waiting alone isn't enough. Here's a detail many miss. Press and hold the brake pedal for about 10 seconds or honk the horn a few times. Sounds odd, but this helps discharge leftover electricity in the small capacitors scattered throughout the car. Only then does the ECU's temporary memory truly clear, ready to start fresh when you restart the car. I once had a customer bring in a Hyundai Sonata with a dashboard lit up like a Christmas tree. Check engine, ABS, and electronic throttle errors. He said he'd tried resetting by disconnecting the battery, but nothing improved. I followed the proper process, disconnected both terminals, pressed the brake a few times, waited 15 minutes, then reconnected. Like magic, the check engine light vanished, and the car ran smoothly again. He just shook his head. I almost paid $200 for a shop to scan it. Of course, you need to prepare a bit. A wrench or socket, usually 10 millimeters for most cars. Insulated gloves if you have them, and most importantly, some patience. When reconnecting, ensure the terminals are tightened securely. Many people leave them loose, causing intermittent issues, then think the ECU is faulty when it's just poor contact. One thing to note, resetting by disconnecting the battery will wipe some personal settings. The clock might reset to 12 ARC-BOWs, the radio loses its presets, and memory seats go blank. But in exchange, you get a cleaner control system, free of old error data. It takes a few minutes to reset the radio, but you could save hundreds on pointless diagnostics. This method works great after replacing sensors, doing maintenance, or dealing with minor issues like rough idling, sluggish throttle, or fuel system warnings. But if errors return after the reset, that's a sign of a real mechanical or electrical problem. You'll need a deeper check, not just a reset to brush it off. If this information is helpful, please comment too to let me know. Method 3. Reset with an OBD2 scanner. If disconnecting the battery is the basic weapon, an OBD2 scanner is the modern tool every owner of a car from 1996 or later should have. Think of it like an electronic stethoscope for your car. Instead of disconnecting the battery and guessing, an OBD2 scanner lets you directly read your car's complaints, pinpointing exactly where the trouble lies. Even better, you can reset the ECU and turn off the check engine light with just a few simple steps. First, know that not all OBD2 scanners are created equal. You can find cheap ones online for a few bucks, but professional models cost hundreds. My 10 years of experience as a mechanic taught me, don't go too cheap. Budget scanners often only read basic codes, miss deeper issues, or have flaky connections. A customer once brought in a Hyundai Tucson with a printout from a cheap scanner saying, "No code found," yet the car was jerking and the throttle was erratic. When I used a proper scanner, it instantly showed throttle sensor and fuel system errors. So, how do you use it, right? First, locate the OBD2 port, usually under the steering wheel near your left knee. Plug in the scanner's cable and turn the key to the on position without starting the engine. The scanner will boot up and read data from the ECU. You'll see a list of error codes, usually starting with P, B, C, or U. Each code points to a specific issue: Processor 300 for random misfire, PU7171 for a lean fuel mixture, or PSER 456 for an evap leak, often just a loose fuel cap. After reading the codes, hit the Clear Code or Erase button on the scanner. This is the software reset for the ECU. The check engine light should turn off instantly, and the car feels clean again. But don't celebrate too soon. Resetting only works if the root cause is fixed. If not, the light will return after a few drives. I've seen owners clear codes to sell a car quickly, but smart buyers drive a few dozen miles, and the truth comes out. The beauty of an OBD2 scanner reset compared to disconnecting the battery is that you don't lose personal settings. The clock, radio, power seats, and even adaptive driving systems stay intact. Plus, you can be selective. Reset just the engine ECU, the transmission, or the ABS system, depending on the scanner. Battery disconnection can't do that. A small tip: after clearing codes, drive at least 50 100 km to let the system run its test cycles, called readiness monitors. If you go for an emissions test right after clearing, your car might fail because the ECU hasn't finished self-checking. Give it time to relearn for accurate new data. Also, an OBD2 scanner isn't just for resetting errors. It lets you monitor live data like engine RPM, fuel pressure, coolant temperatures, or oxygen sensor status. It's a goldmine for anyone who wants to care for their car thoroughly. I once saved a customer nearly $500 by spotting an erratic oxygen sensor in live data, avoiding blind guesswork. Method 5: throttle body reset via pedal. If you've replaced the batteries or disconnected it, and now your car idles rough, with erratic RPMs, sluggish throttle response, or even jerking at a stoplight, the culprit might be the electronic throttle body. Back in the day, throttle valves were controlled by a mechanical cable, so disconnecting the battery didn't cause issues. But modern cars use a drive-by-wire system where the gas pedal sends electronic signals. When power is lost, the ECU forgets the correct pedal and throttle valve positions. The result? The car has to relearn from scratch, and that's when you need to reset the throttle body using the pedal. The process is genuinely simple, yet few people know it. First, sit in the driver's seat and ensure the car is completely off. Insert the key and turn it to the on position, where all dashboard lights come on, but the engine doesn't start. Hold it there for 3 to 5 seconds. Then, with your right foot, slowly press the gas pedal all the way to the floor and hold it for 5-10 seconds. Next, gently release the pedal back to its starting position. Repeat this process 2 to 3 times. The goal is to let the ECU recognize the 0 point when the pedal is fully released and the 100% point when it's floored. After finishing, turn the key off, wait a few seconds, and start the car normally. The magic is that in most cases, the idle stabilizes after just a few minutes of test driving. The throttle feels smoother, lag disappears, and fuel economy noticeably improves. Some real-world studies show that skipping this reset after a battery change can waste 10 to 12% more fuel in city driving, a significant amount over a year. I once had a customer bring in a Nissan Altima, complaining that after a new battery, the car's throttle was erratic, acting like it was possessed. They thought the transmission was failing, but after performing the throttle reset via pedal in under 3 minutes, the engine ran smoothly with no more wild behavior. The owner couldn't believe it, thrilled yet kicking themselves for nearly spending money on a new sensor. Interestingly, each car brand has slight variations. Some Toyota or Honda models only need the simple on-press release sequence. But for Nissan, you might need to hold the on position for 10 seconds before starting the pedal process. My advice? Check your car's manual or trusted online forums for specifics. But the core principle is the same, helping the ECU relearn the gas pedal and throttle body positions. Compared to using an OBD2 scanner or disconnecting the battery, this method's advantage is that no tools are needed. You can do it in your garage, a parking lot, or right outside your house. Since it only affects the throttle system, you won't lose radio settings, the clock, or seat memory. The car doesn't need a long wait, just a few minutes and you're done. This is one of those zero-cost tricks with high payoff that pros use before resorting to pricey part replacements. However, remember, throttle reset only helps with issues tied to idling, throttle lag, or uneven running after a power loss. If your car has bigger problems like sudden stalling or power loss during acceleration, the issue might be the MAF sensor, oxygen sensor, or fuel injectors. Resetting won't fully fix those. One final tip: after resetting, drive 15 to 20 km sprints to let the ECU fine-tune based on your driving habits. Don't panic if the RPMs are high or the car feels slightly off at first. Be patient. After a short drive, things will settle. Comment 1 and like this video, and I'll reveal something even more shocking. Method 5: soft ECU drain with jumper cables. It might sound unusual, but this is the ultimate move many skilled mechanics use to completely clear the ECU's memory without complex tools. While disconnecting the battery resets most temporary data, the soft ECU drain goes further. It sucks out every bit of residual power in the system, letting the car start from a true zero state. Picture your car like a frozen laptop. Unplugging it shuts it down, but when you restart, some programs still cause trouble. Soft ECU drain is like unplugging and holding the power button, ensuring every component resets fully. The process isn't hard, but you need to be careful with each step for total safety. First, ensure both battery terminals, positive and negative, are disconnected. This is rule number 1. Never attempt this with the battery still connected. Then, grab a standard set of jumper cables, the kind used to jump-start a car. Attach the red clamp to the positive terminal cable and the black clamp to the negative terminal cable. But remember, these cables are now detached from the battery. By clamping them together, you create a closed loop, allowing any trapped electricity in the car's system to discharge completely. There's no power source, no sparks, just a full, clean reset. The ideal wait time is 5 to 10 minutes. During this time, you can press the brake pedal or turn on the headlights briefly to speed up the discharge. After the wait, remove the clamps, reconnect the battery in the correct order, positive first, then negative, and tighten securely. When you start the car, the ECU will be like it's fresh from the factory, free of ghost error codes or faulty data causing chaos. I once had a customer bring in a Chevy Cruze with a weird issue. The check engine light stayed on, flagging a throttle error despite a new sensor. Disconnecting the battery didn't help, and clearing codes with an OBD2 scanner only worked temporarily. The final solution was a soft ECU drain with jumper cables. After 10 minutes of draining, we reconnected the battery, started the car, and everything was gone. The car ran smoothly, as if the error never existed. The owner was stunned, having thought they'd need a new ECU. What makes this method special is that it doesn't just reset the ECU, it refreshes other electronic modules too, from the transmission control to the climate system to the infotainment. The only downside? You'll lose personal settings, clock, radio presets, memory seats. But in return, your car gets a completely clean slate, eliminating hidden error data that could cause trouble later. However, you don't always need this ultimate move. Soft ECU drain is best for stubborn errors that regular resets or OBD2 code clearing can't fix. For smaller issues, try simpler methods first. And let me stress again, never clamp the cables while the battery is still connected. One small mistake could cause a dangerous short circuit. The cool thing is, after a soft drain, many drivers say their car feels smoother, with a more responsive throttle, silkier gear shifts, and a steadier idle. Some have saved hundreds in mechanic fees just by knowing this trick. It's like factory resetting your entire car for free with results even pros sometimes keep as a trade secret. Many annoying car issues are just the ECU getting confused, not major breakdowns. These 5 simple reset methods, from the key trick, proper battery disconnection, OBD2 scanner, and throttle pedal reset to soft ECU drain, can make your car run smoothly again, turn off warning lights, and save you money. Understand and apply them right, and you'll not only avoid costly shop visits, but also truly take control of your car.